Good morning. This is KELOLAND on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your Sunday. We also have your Boredom Busters coming up, but first, our top story. Police have arrested 2 suspects after multiple gunshots rang out in Rapid City over the weekend. It happened Saturday afternoon on Sturgis Road on the west side of the city, where police say 21-year-old Antoine Long visitor fired multiple shots into the air. He's charged with 11 counts of reckless discharge of a firearm. Police say several shell casings were recovered from the area, but no one was hurt. Police say a black pickup that was tied to the gunshots was later involved in the theft of ammunition. The pickup's driver, 22-year-old Cage Snyder, is charged with driving under suspension, eluding, and leaving the scene of an accident. Police say Snyder also has several active warrants. First responders trained for a worst-case scenario in the Black Hills on Saturday. Several agencies worked a simulated mass casualty incident so they'll be better prepared when a real emergency happens. The scenarios included a car crash, a lost child, and a school bus rollover.
Any incident that overwhelms the responders is technically a mass casualty incident. In this scenario, I've got a car versus pickup truck. The car crashed into the pickup truck that had several people in the back seat or in the back of the truck, and the bus then came into the intersection, tried to swerve and miss it, and we have a bus rolled on its side.
First responders say the priority in responding to mass casualty events is to triage all of the victims, which requires a quick medical assessment to make sure the most severely injured patients are the first to be treated. A dance class in Sioux Falls Saturday pirouetted into a lesson on breast cancer awareness. Ballerina Dance Studio partnered with Avera Health to put on this class as part of Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
They had emailed me and asked me to do this event, and I immediately said yes, because I was like, yes, this is awesome. I love doing stuff like this, not only giving back to the community, but also just something special and different than I normally do.
A doctor at the event reminded women to start getting mammograms once they turn 40 and said everyone should monitor their breasts for lumps, including men. Let's take our first look at the forecast now with meteorologist Adam Rutt in the Storm Center. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, Perry, and good morning, everybody. We have change on the way today. It's already here out to the west, but to the east, we're getting there. 66 with a view from Falls Park, a south wind at 14 miles per hour on this Sunday morning. But you're going to notice as we head north and west, there are going to be differences. It's 60 in Aberdeen, a southwesterly breeze now at 19 miles per hour. And farther out to the west, it gets cooler. 55 with a view from our camera in Pierre, west wind at 15 miles per hour. And we bottom out in Rapid City, a north wind at 26 miles per hour, but the air temperature just 47. That is on the backside of that cold front that is continuing to push eastward. We are in the mid to upper 60s near and east of I-29, but that push of cooler air is coming in more and more. 58 for Huron and Mitchell, 53 in Mulbridge, 52 for Phillip, 39 this morning in Custer, and 41 in Spearfish. The wind is going to pick up more and more as we go through the day, especially up in northeastern KELOLAND, where we do have a wind advisory in place. We'll talk about that in a little more detail coming up, but everybody is going to be rather blustery. It just depends on what direction that wind is coming from. Fall does make an appearance, temporarily at least. We'll talk about that coming up in your extended forecast.
All right, thank you very much, Adam. High school marching bands from across the region showcased their talents during Saturday's Festival of Bands in Sioux Falls. The parade competition, Beersford took first place in Class A, West Central won in Class AA, T took first in Class AAA, and Aberdeen Central claimed the 4A title. Eastview High School from Minnesota won the field competition finals, followed by Brookings, Marshall, West Central, and Harrisburg. Tonight's Eye on KELOLAND looks back at last month's 437 project that involved a run across the entire state of South Dakota to raise mental health awareness. Our own Dan Santella was among the 12 runners who took part in the 437-mile relay. He'll share inspiring stories among the team of runners to find out what motivated them to go the distance. Be sure to watch tonight at 10. Gearheads will want to head to the WH Line Fairgrounds in Sioux Falls for the swap meet for classic cars, trucks, street rods, and bikes. The swap meet is taking place inside and outside of the Armory building until 2 p.m. Admission is $3, free for children 12 and under. Get ideas for your next remodeling project during the Showcase of Remodeled Homes. You can tour remodeled homes in the Sioux Falls area from noon to 5 p.m. A $5 punch card gets you into all of the homes. The Sioux Falls Quilters Guild is hosting the Dakota Pieces Quilt Show at the Sioux Falls Convention Center. The hours are 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Admission is $8. The Hartford Area Chamber of Commerce is hosting a fall festival that includes an evening of shopping and participating businesses, along with face painting, hay rides, train rides, a petting zoo, and a pumpkin painting. The festival begins at 4:30 p.m. and ends with fireworks. And enjoy pro football action on KELOLAND TV. CBS Sports coverage begins at 11 a.m. Central Time with the NFL Today. That's followed by the Denver Broncos and the Philadelphia Eagles at noon. Adam?
And it's going to be a windy day to be out and about, regardless of what side of the river you're on. I mentioned a little bit earlier we had a wind advisory in place. This is for northeastern South Dakota, as far north and west as McPherson County and the Eureka area, going into Aberdeen, Webster, Sisseton, Wilmot, Milbank, Watertown, and then over to Dual County. This will be until 3 p.m. Central Time this afternoon, as gusts may reach and exceed 50 miles per hour. Even outside of that advisory area, it is going to be at bare minimum breezy, if not outright blustery. We had rain this morning out in northwestern South Dakota. That is gradually dissipating. Still seeing a few showers this morning up in Corson County, north and east of Rapid City and Meade County, and then Spearfish along I-90 getting in on a little more rain. We had a couple of showers and even heard a rumble of thunder this morning in the Sioux Falls area, but very, very light stuff that's just going to gradually move on over to the east as our cold front follows suit. Once that front clears the region, those winds are going to turn to the northwest, and it is going to become noticeably cooler, especially considering we have back-to-back days in the 90s in Sioux Falls. So if you're wondering if we're going to get a heat wave, the short answer, no. We will not do that this time around. 80 is not out of the question near and southeast of Sioux Falls, but once that cold front clears the region and winds turn to the northwest, the bottom is going to drop out on those temperatures, and we are going to feel like we are actually in fall, especially to the east. Out west, we're already getting that today with highs only in the 50s. But Monday is going to be the coolest day across the board for both sides of the river. Also, maybe a couple of isolated showers near and south of I-90 with a little bit of moisture trying to well up from Nebraska. Outside of that, that's really going to be just about it in terms of any kind of appreciable moisture. We're going to be dry once again as we go through really the rest of the week. We haven't had measurable rain at the airport in Sioux Falls since September 22nd. And if we can't get anything out of the showers that we saw last night and this morning, then that streak is going to continue for a while. Along with that, we're going to warm up again. Take a look at the second half of the week. And then the weekend as well. Above average temperatures coming back into the picture. Now, do I think it's going to get as hot as what we had seen this past weekend and this past week? No, I don't think we're going to be getting into the 90s again. But 70s, certainly some 80s not out of the question in a couple of areas. Keep in mind, though, average is going to gradually slip by a degree by day and by night about every 2 to 3 days. That being said, odds for above average temperatures remain favored going into late October. By that point, average is going to be roughly in the low 60s. The deeper the shade of orange, the more likely you are to see above average temperatures. This is not an indication of whether it is going to be by a little or by a lot. It's simply the likelihood of that happening. Today, yeah, we're certainly getting that to the southeast with 70s and low 80s for highs ahead of that cold front. But elsewhere, 60s, 50s for high temperatures with overnight lows tonight dropping into the 40s, a couple of 30s also not out of the question. Here is your 7-day forecast. After today, we cool off. 63 on Monday, but we also climb back up the ladder through the second half of the week, back into the mid to upper 70s. All the while, we stay dry. Same goes for Aberdeen. 64, though, today for a high, for an afternoon high temperature, rather. I think we achieved our high around the midnight hour. But we do get back into the mid to upper 70s for the second half of the week. In Pierre, we had a couple of little showers, may see a few more in the afternoon, but those are going to be pretty isolated. Beyond that, we're windy with a high of 63. We get up to 83, though, by the first half of next weekend. In between, it is a gradual climb upward. And for Rapid City, a few more showers today, an isolated shower or two on Monday. Otherwise, 50s through Monday for high temperatures. But you have upper 70s and low to mid 80s on the way back for the second half of the week. Have a great day, everybody. For more on your local news, weather, and sports, you can always head on over to KELOLAND.com.